But you, of course, in your line of work, you've taken this to a whole new level, and you have also gone deep into the historic levels of consciousness of Earth. And that's, to me, a very interesting subject because we are not that far away from the highest average that you measured. And then we saw, and I talked about this briefly in another live stream, and then we saw, I think, one of the biggest drops in the shortest period of time in that LOC, and now it's on the way up. Can we talk a little bit about the levels of consciousness, the averages of the Earth, and what that means for all of us?
It's easy to understand the local fields. You walk into a graveyard, it feels dark and heavy. You go into a cathedral or someplace where there's been prayer and you feel that uplifted feeling. You walk by a French fry billboard, you think of French fries. So those local fields we can understand, but we're also influenced by these larger fields, regional, country, and the entire world. And that's why we set upon this project of measuring the world over a long period of time to really look at what's happened, and those fields on a large scale like that also affect us in the same way that the local fields do. That in a field of, say, anger, we're going to be more prone to anger. We may have more angry thoughts. Anger may come up in ways that we didn't expect. So I'll just kind of set the stage that those global fields affect us as well as the local fields.
So we did have some slides, Jeff, that we prepared.
Yeah, this is a great one to start with. So we went back 5,000 years. So we wanted to really look at, what's happened in the world when you really go back further, and it puts in perspective what's happening today. So you can see that what it's showing is below 100 on the Hawkins map. And what we realized as we did this chart was that there may have been areas of the planet that were higher. There may have been civilizations that were higher. We all have heard about Atlantis and Lemuria, and there may have been others even further back in history than this that were high spots, but the rest of the world was relatively low. So a level of consciousness like this really represents a survival state where it's at a level of energy where it's just there's a lot of survival happening. There's hunting for food and changes in the world that are having to be dealt with, climate changes and other things. But you can see that rising above the 100 level, around the time of Christ's birth. And then there's kind of a steady, uptick there that takes us kind of below 200. And one thing to understand about these scales of consciousness that Dr. David Hawkins developed is that they're sort of hillocks or hills that you go over. And 200 is one of those where it's a major change in the way we think of the world. It's a major death of old beliefs and a rebirth of new beliefs to kind of crest these areas where at 200 we kind of leave behind this negative view of the world. It's like, I have to fight for my life, and it's me or them, or anger and lust and all these various lower emotions, and move into hope and higher levels, towards love, which is up in 500, and in the 300 and 400s into kind of a scientific materialism where, we kind of find the truths in the world as we can understand them and start to live by a rule of law in some ways. So that's kind of a little bit of an overview of the map. But you can see we bumped along at 200 or just below 200 for quite some time in history. And then we made a major jump up, and the world went over 200 as a whole. And that was the first time in this history that it had occurred. And going back further, we might find something different.
You deserve the truth, but big tech does not want you to hear it. So we built our own Inspired platform on the inspiredchannel.com. Just click the link in the video description or the pinned comment.